All right, so welcome back. This is episode 2 of the Jake's Weight Loss Journey series. So that's so corny. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, again, I'm Jake. I'm 47 years old. I lost essentially 40 pounds in about 8 months. And I did it essentially doing resistance training and diet. That was my biggest two key things. So in the last video, I talked a little bit about my background and who I was and how I got there, or how I got where I am, my motivations for losing weight, things like that. In this one, I'll talk a little bit about how to get started. From last time, my goals were I want to break 200 pounds by the end of the calendar year 2023, and I want to keep as much muscle mass as I can during that. And the reason why that second one is there is because I don't know if you've seen some people lose weight. They do it so drastically that they lose a ton of muscle. That's generally from cutting too many calories too fast and not keeping your protein up and not keeping your resistance training going. So you lose that muscle mass really fast. And the older you are, the faster that happens, which is super unfortunate. It's kind of cruel the way our bodies work that way. So those are my two goals. And so I started by essentially just counting my calories. And so that's what I would encourage you to do at the very beginning is just everything that you put in your mouth for a week, track it. There's plenty of apps on a phone. I use MyFitnessPal. It's one that my friend Yuri referred me to, and I've been using that one. I use it to I use it to track my calories, my weight, all those things. Steps are even in there, and so it'll tell you like how much you burn so you can eat a little more. I don't really look at that. I just mainly focus on that calorie count and macros, which we'll talk about later. Get a calorie counting app. There's my stupid simple macro tracker, I think is the one that Sam Sulek uses. Sam Sulek, I'm a big fan of his just for motivation and things, and I think he's a great kid. His success is extraordinary, and I really like his video format. But anyway, that's a plug for Sam. I'll put his channel information down there. In fact, all the things that I talk about, I'll put it in the description today in this video, and I'll list out the different things that I got started with. So calorie tracker on your phone, need that, and before you freak out, like it gets easy. Like at first it sucks, but what's funny is there's kind of a dual action that happens. Like counting calories and recording them sucks so bad that you eat in more clumped periods so that you only have to track it like 4 times a day versus eating all throughout the day and you have to track it like, every 5 minutes. So it retrains you a little bit just by the fact that it does kind of suck at the beginning. But for a week, that's what I want you to do is basically track all your calories, everything that you eat, track it in that app and be honest. I'm not watching, but imagine somebody's gonna like audit you at the end of the week or something. And yeah, anyway, that's kind of weird how that would work. But anyway, so get the tracker. The second thing I want you to do is go get a food scale. And I don't want you to use that yet. I want you to use that in week 2, and we'll talk about a little bit about why that is. But I want you to get a food scale from Amazon, a small one, that's like this big or something like that is fine. Doesn't have to be fancy. I've seen some ads where like they'll put peanut butter on one and it'll analyze the fat content. That I'm pretty sure that doesn't seem to compute with me how that works. So just get a simple scale that can do ounces, it can do grams, and pounds, ounces. Like if you do that, you'll be just fine. So get that. And then the last thing I would say is find some way to be able to do some resistance training. And that can be either joining a gym, that's kind of on one extreme, or it could even be like just some little dumbbells you get off, Facebook Marketplace or whatever, you see on the curb or something like that. Just get something to where you can start doing some strength training. And then get some good walking shoes. I think that's important too if you choose to do walking. If you want to do a recumbent bike, that's cool. But you're going to do some cardio. And don't worry, it's I do, maybe 20 to 30 minutes of cardio every other day, probably average. You're not going to have to run marathons and stuff like that. If you want to and you enjoy that, that's cool. But marathons are not my thing. Me running is just a bad idea. Like I get shin splints. Now, of course, I was heavier when I was getting those, but I don't enjoy running. So I walk at a brisker pace outside. You can also, I have a little a little mini treadmill that I use. What do they call it? A walking pad, I think is the new term. I got off Amazon for like $150, but I use that when I can't go outside. I am in Texas, so it gets brutally hot here. So yeah, get some good shoes if you like walking. If you like recumbent biking and you know that, you can get a recumbent bike. Something to do that cardio on, because you're going to be doing a little bit of that. But again, back to what I said, I think in the first video, you can't out exercise a bad diet. It starts with your diet. So make sure that, keep that in mind. You don't have to kill yourself on physical activity as long as you're really watching that diet. So yeah, so this is your bit of homework that I want you to start today. Is essentially you get that app on your phone, one of the apps, and log your calories, everything you put into your mouth for a week, okay? I want you to do that for a full week. No excuses, no misses, no cheating, and record everything you put in, you eat, okay? And that's soft drinks, like if you drink normal Coke, capture those. If you drink a Diet Coke, don't worry about that. But anything that has calories in it, capture that, okay? That's super important. And yeah, and to dispel any myths, if you're waiting for the next episode to be like, okay, he's going to unleash the master diet that he's come up with. It's not. It's thermodynamics, right? Calories in, expelled calories out. Okay, that's what this is all about. And so, and then the other thing I want you to do is just find a calorie calculator online. I'll post one in the description, but start to get an idea of actually how many calories you really need. And that's tricky, right? Those calculators give you an estimate, and then get yourself a scale, a good scale, nothing fancy, it doesn't have to test body fat or anything like that. Those are highly inaccurate, not even worth it. Just get a scale, because you will be weighing yourself every morning when you wake up. So the scale is really the only affordable way that we can track progress over time. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, you don't want to weigh yourself every day. It's kind of discouraging, because you're not going to see it move every day. That is absolutely true. That can be discouraging, and I obsessed about that myself. Unfortunately, though, that is the barometer that we need. That's the compass we need to see if that estimated calorie count that you calculated online is the right one for you. That's the trick. Is so if you're eating like 1,900 calories or something like that, and your weight is going down like half a pound a week, you're on a good track. If you're eating 2,300 calories or even 2,100 calories and your weight is staying the same, now that's your maintenance weight, or maintenance calorie count. So that scale is really important. Not the day-to-day changes, but like the weekly averages are really important, but you can't average unless you sample every day. So get that scale, and then you don't even have to start weighing yourself right now. Just capture the calories. Just count the calories. That's your only homework for this week, and get these other tools that you need that I've listed out too. And so buckle up. This is going to be fun. Like I think it's going to be hard at first, but I think once you start seeing some progress, and you'll see some progress pretty quick as long as you're honest with your tracking and you're doing some physical activity, you're going to be amazed on the progress you see at first. And what I will warn you is that initial win, if you will, of that weight coming off the very beginning, it can be frustrating, because that will not last. And so your body will freak out and say, hey, Jake's starving. He's going to die unless I slow things way down. And so it's going to become an uphill battle. But I'll talk to you about some of my experiences and how I got over that, how I got ticked off and discouraged, and how my wife helped me with that. And, so buckle up, count your calories, and I will see you in the next episode.